Hello, my name is Arnetra and welcome to my channel, Movies, Books, TV, Oh My. And today we will be talking about season 3, Daredevil. So if you haven't finished it or you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend going and watching it, finishing it, and then coming back so we can talk about Daredevil and how good it is. So a little backstory. I think that Daredevil is by far the most competently made, the most engaging of the Marvel Netflix shows. I feel like the creative team had the strongest idea and the best vision of who Matt Murdock Daredevil is and how they wanted his arc to be written and completed. And it just felt like it was the most real of the shows. I know now that unfortunately Iron Fist and Luke Cage have been canceled. I think Jessica Jones is getting at least a season 3. I don't know if Daredevil will be given a season 4. If it's not, it will be unfortunate because it with this past season has transitioned from a good show to a great show. But if it does not get a fourth season, I will be satisfied because season 3 really, as a fan of the show, gave me exactly what I needed. So I feel good if this is the stopping point. I really feel like they made their mark and they made a great television show and they can be proud of what they accomplished, everyone involved in Daredevil, if they aren't allowed to get that fourth season. And it just ends on a satisfying note. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, Daredevil is my favorite of the Marvel TV shows simply because it just felt the most grounded, it felt the most realistic. Marvel is notoriously cheap, and so that limited budget really forced the creative team to create a real world with real people that just happen to be inhabited by some folks who are super. And that idea came across best in Daredevil. Like I said, it's the best of the TV shows. Matt Murdock was my favorite one, and The Defenders, which I just found okay. I thought the first season was a really good introduction to the character, to the world. I enjoyed the second season, however, and I enjoyed Elektra. However, I didn't like the bigger story of the Hand. I just felt like it was too supernatural, too untethered from the ground. And it just didn't work within the world that the creators and the actors had created for Daredevil and his gang. So season 3, it starts with Matt Murdock is convalescing in the church that he grew up in. He's being aided and looked after by this really hard Scrabble, no nonsense nun. That you really feel that there's a connection between those two, and further watching definitely cements why there's such a connection between those two. And you see the father who's really been, the touchstone for Matt and his humanity. He's also around, helping Matt Murdock come to terms with what he's just immediately been through. And I have to say that Charlie Cox continues to give the best performance in the Marvel television series shows. He imbues Matt with this just weary, tired, world weariness without it descending into self-pity. You really get that Matt is just bone tired. You really get that he is, at a fork in the road. He can either go this way and continue to be Daredevil. He can go this way and try to live a normal or as normal a life as someone with his abilities can live. I don't understand why Charlie Cox hasn't gotten more work. out of Daredevil. Maybe he simply wanted to, because he had got such a great gig, he wanted to focus on his personal life. But now that more than likely Daredevil isn't getting a fourth season, I really want to see Charlie Cox in more things. I had no idea he was this good of an actor. Vincent D'Onofrio, whom I did know was a really good actor, continues just to be larger than life, but like in a really good way. As Wilson Fisk, he manages to be menacing and this genius level mastermind, criminal mastermind, and it still feels grounded. It still feels believable. He is like the embodiment of a comic book villain, but without the silliness and the archness that the comic book villain, that title, the connotation of that. I really feel like Fisk is a great villain, the best villain out of the Marvel TV shows. Yes, even better than the Purple Man. I know. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not, but I have my problems with Jessica Jones. And anyway, and I really liked Bullseye. I say the backstory with Bullseye was, I have to say, the best examination of psychopathology that I've ever seen in a movie or a TV show or in literature. It really felt grounded and the most realistic portrayal of how that kind of diagnosis would really impact a real person's life. And you saw that, Bullseye was really trying to not run away from his diagnosis, but realistically weave it into the fabric of his life while still being, a law-abiding, moral person. And to see the unraveling of that really made me feel sympathetic to his character. And when he completely devolved, I felt sad for him. And so I really enjoy Bullseye. If I don't get to see him in anything further in the fourth season, that'll be sad because he's such a good character. But like I said, this is the best portrayal of psychopathology that I've ever seen in media. So well done. I continue to like Foggy and Karen. I think they are great second tier characters. Their stories, their plot lines are compelling without superseding Matt Murdock. So they realize what they're doing. It really supports what's going on with Matt Murdock, and it really felt like they were a team, and it makes sense why these three people would love one another. So I thought that they were great. I really enjoyed Nadim's arc. I really liked seeing his family. It was nice to see a wonderful, loving portrayal of, a brown family just living their own lives and what it means to be a good person that is kind of undone by their own hubris, their own pride, but ultimately decides to do the right thing. I thought that was an interesting arc, and it was great that it was just one season arc. I think that sometimes showrunners get a little bit too ambitious, and I like that each season really feels like its own thing and has its own story, and Nadim's story was very tied into what else was going on in the third season. So I think that was a very smart thing to do. And lastly, we gotta talk about that hallway fight. I mean, it was 11 minutes of heart-pounding, just beautifully choreographed fighting. It was seamless transitions between Charlie Cox and his stuntmen and fighting. And this is definitely the best of the hallway scenes for Daredevil, which, you know, I feel like it's a show known for its hallway fights. It was ambitious in scope, and it really fit in the overall theme of the third season, because I feel like this is definitely by far the most ambitious of the third seasons with how it tells its story. And it was just beautiful. I've never been so hyped for a filmed fight. I feel like this should win all of the awards. I don't know if there's a category for best choreography in a fight in the Emmys. If not, there should be, and this scene should win that category hands down. Just beautiful choreography. So, like I said at the top of the clip, I don't think that Daredevil is coming back for a fourth season, which is unfortunate. However, I feel good with how the show ended. It's going to be, you know, Matt and Foggy and Karen back together in their own law practice. I felt, you know, that Foggy and Karen grew enough that now that they're coming back to where they started, it's going to be a team of equals. And so that really ended on a great note, because these people are back together, but they've grown, they've gone through so much, they've lost so much. But now that they've acknowledged the fights that they've had, they acknowledged the tension, and they've acknowledged the separate lives that they have been living. And so now they have all that knowledge, all that life to come back together and just be, like I said, a team of equals. And that makes me feel good if that's really going to be the ending point of Daredevil on Netflix. So A plus, everything was as near perfect as anything could possibly be. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy Daredevil? Did you think it was the best season yet? What were some of your issues or concerns with the story? I really had no issues or concerns. I just wish, you know, there was more of it. Honestly, I could have gone for a 22 episode season of Daredevil, especially since more than likely it's going to be the last season. Yeah, so thank you so much for spending time with me. If you enjoy my videos, please like, share, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.